I wanted to make the Akatosh video right after the Malakath video, but then I realized if I put this off for any longer, I'm going to forget all of the plot of the movie. So, today we're going to be talking about The Little Things. The Little Things is a movie you've seen before. It has a story you've heard before tons of times. Tons and tons and tons of times. It is a story about some cops coming to catch a bad guy. It's as simple as that. We have Denzel Washington playing a small-town deputy who used to be the New Orleans head detective at the Homicide Detective Office. Rami Malek plays the guy who replaced him at the at the Los Angeles, the New Orleans Detective Office. And Jared Leto plays the suspect. He doesn't play the killer, he plays the suspect. It leaves it open-ended for you to think whether or not he was or wasn't the actual guy. Maybe it was Denzel Washington. They leave certain things open for you to analyze. The actual name of the title is actually what makes the film so interesting. It's called The Little Things. And that's something that Denzel Washington tells Rami Malek as he takes him under his wing, more than once. It's the little things that get you caught. It's the little things that haunt you. It's the little things. One little mistake, and that's it. That's all over. And that's really interesting to think about. This movie works in two ways. In one way, it's much like a lot of the stuff that gets oversaturated on cable and other streaming services nowadays. The Law and Order and its spin-offs, the CSI and its spin-offs, NCIS and its spin-offs, the Blue Bloods, and all those stuff, man. It's like that. It's the type of thing you could put on at the end of a long day. Your brain's not working too right anymore. You don't really want to think about anything. You just want to put something on and have it on. Well, the Little Things will satisfy that. You could just put it on, sit in the chair, maybe fall asleep in the middle of it. It's one of those movies. It's not bad. It serves its purpose, and it's a pretty decent time all the same. But you're not going to remember too much about it if you fall asleep during it. And then it serves this other purpose. It's for the lore hounds, the Columbos of the audience who analyze the whole thing, want to look very deep into the aspects, the actions of the characters, why they say what they say, their body language, what's given away in a single line of dialogue that might be something that they didn't say but was implied when they said something else. It's all these little things that make it interesting to pay attention to try to find out what those little things actually are. I'm not going to tell you what those little things are. I'm not going to tell you which one of these I think is the killer. It may be it's a completely different guy. It's something that you have to watch, and you have to pay attention to it. But you don't have to if you don't want to. It'll serve its purpose regardless. It'll serve two different purposes. If you pay attention, it'll serve that purpose. If you don't pay attention, it'll serve another purpose, but it will still serve that purpose. Something that can be on in the background. You could have something else on if you would like, but it's still something you could put on in the background. Me, I like my crime thrillers. I do. I love them. I read a bunch of crime thriller novels. There's a couple that I have called Stuart Woods. A bunch of those are good. There's these, I forget the name, I think Patterson's the author name, but he's got a bunch of Stone Barrington novels. I've read a couple of those. Of course, my favorite's the Pendergast series. I'm going to have to talk about that sometime. I've already talked about the first one, The Relic, and I compared its film adaptation, which didn't bring in Pendergast into the film, which is a very big crime, but it's still a decent film. It's still a very good book, probably one of my favorites of all time. I definitely recommend you read The Relic. But I'm a big fan of it. I've watched a bunch of these cable crime shows all the time. I think my favorite is probably going to be a Law and Order Criminal Intent. I know a lot of people say SVUs, and you're valid for saying that, but me, I gotta give it to Vincent D'Onofrio. No, I love that show. It's a very good one to have on. Who knows? I may collect that someday. Criminal Intent's a great time, but I also like the ones that make you think, the ones that make you really rack your brain about trying to uncover the mystery, to figure out what's going on. The David Fincher movies like Seven and Zodiac come to mind, especially. Zodiac especially, because like Zodiac, you don't really find the killer. You find a suspect, and it leaves it open-ended on whether or not that suspect was the actual killer or not. It doesn't do it as smartly as Fincher would have done it. In fact, I'm actually very curious how David Fincher would have tackled the little things. I'm very curious how he would have tackled this film. Although I don't want to take credit away from John Lee Hancock, who actually wrote and directed this. So this is still a good film. I don't want to take that away from him, but I do think Seven and Zodiac are better films. They're just better paced. They've got better mystery. They've got better dialogue. Probably because David Fincher is a perfectionist when he tries to film his stuff. He may make 27 takes of a single scene because he wants to get it perfect. He wants to get the line delivery perfect. He wants to get the actions perfect. He wants to get the camera angles perfect. If the camera moves a single inch, that's intentional for Fincher. It's not an accident. It's not something we just leave in because we're lazy. No, it's intentional. Everything that you see on film was intentional. That's how big of a perfectionist this dude is, and that's why David Fincher is one of my favorite directors working today, and I'm just very sad he's making Netflix stuff. Make theatrical stuff again, man. Do it! Make a crime thriller again. Put it on the big screen. If your name's connected to it, I think people might go watch it. Anyway, The Little Things is a fun time. It's a fun time. You can watch it if you want, or don't if you don't. It's not going to hurt you either way. But I think you should watch it.